Alright, so in the last video we created our structure for our PHP application, but in this video what I want to do is just create the UI. Maybe this and the next video. We're going to start with the HTML, which is going to come from the Bootstrap framework, and we're just going to grab one of the sample templates for Bootstrap and customize it. Alright, and we're going to customize it obviously to look like this. Alright, so I want to try to get through this quick. If you don't feel like watching videos on HTML and CSS, then I just suggest that you just grab the files and continue on to the next part. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop, and this is going to be just for HTML. I'm just going to call it ts_HTML. Alright, so we want to get Bootstrap. And the reason I use Bootstrap a lot in this series is because we're not focusing on writing HTML or anything like that. And obviously I could do it without even having a design or a template just to get right to the PHP. But I just want to build well-rounded applications that you would kind of use in the real world as a production app. So I just want to blend in together the have a design for each of our applications. Alright, so I'm going to download Bootstrap, open that up, and open our HTML folder up. I'm going to bring these files in. Alright, and I just want to check, we're going to use this bootstrap.css, and that's all we're going to use, so I'm going to delete all these. Alright, and I'm also going to create a custom.css file as well, because we're not going to edit the Bootstrap one. Alright, and we want to create an index page. And these are all going to have HTML extensions. Obviously those are going to change to PHP, but for now they're just HTML. And we want to create a few more here. Let's create register.html. And let's see, we need create topic, and I guess we'll just have those for now. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up index.html with your text editor, and I'm also going to, well, actually we'll do the HTML first and then the CSS. Alright, so what I want to do is grab one of the sample templates here. If we scroll down, I want to grab this starter template. Alright, and I'm just going to copy and paste the source code into our index file. Alright, and we're just going to change up some things here. I'm going to take out the description, author, favicon. If you want, you can keep those, but I'm just going to get rid of them. Title, let's change that. Welcome to talking space. Alright, so we need to change the path to this CSS file. I want to take this dist folder and all this off, so it goes right to our CSS folder. And then we're not using the minified version, so we just want bootstrap.css. And then this starter template.css, I'm going to change this to custom, also in the CSS folder. And then I'm going to get rid of all this. Don't need that. Alright, let's see. Down here, for the JavaScript file, we're not even really going to be using this, but I mean, I'll just keep it there just in case. So that's going to be inside of the JavaScript folder. Let me just check out what we got there. I'm going to get rid of the minified version. and we just want bootstrap.js. Alright, and we're also calling jQuery in from Google's CDN. Alright, so let's save that. Alright, so there's also a few lines of CSS inside of this starter template. So I'm going to click on that, and that was in the source code for the example, for the sample template. Alright, I'm just going to throw that in the custom file for now. Save it. And now our template should look normal. Alright, so there's the sample template. Alright, so we're going to work off that. So let's see, for the project name, I'm going to change that. I'm going to make this a little wider in case you guys are trying to copy. Alright, so project name, talking space, and for our menu I want it to float to the right. So for this UL class, I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add navbar right. Alright, and we'll change this to create an account. And this one will be create topic. Now when we make our application, we're going to have it so if we're not logged in, we see create an account, and if we are logged in, we'll see create a topic. But for now, we're just going to see both, because it's just HTML. Okay, so this will go to create.html for now. And this will go to, I'm sorry, this will go to create. And this will go to register. And this will go to index. Okay, let's save that. Alright, good. So before, I'm not going to get into the CSS, the customization right now. I just want to get the HTML done. So down here, I'm going to get rid of this starter template div. Alright, and we're going to be using the grid system, the Bootstrap grid system. So we're going to have a column that is eight grid columns wide, and then a sidebar which will be 4 grid columns wide. Alright, so to use grids, we want to use a row class. Okay, so row, and then we're going to have div class col md 8. Okay, so that'll give us an 8 column div. And then we're going to have our sidebar div class call md4. Alright, so in the 8 div, we're going to have a main column div. Oh, this would help. Alright, and we're going to have a block class. Now the block class is going to give us these white backgrounds here. So the white with the rounded edges. Alright, so we'll use the block class here, and we'll use it in our little sidebar modules as well. Okay, so main column. You can see we're going to have an H1 and then an H4. Okay, so H1 will float to the left, H4 will go to the right. Alright, so H1 class equals pull left. Actually, I'll just put all that on one line. and then we'll have an H4, and that'll be pulled to the right. Alright, so since those are floated, we need to add a clear fix, which comes with Bootstrap. And now we want, I'm going to throw in a horizontal rule, so we'll have a line there, and then that'll separate us from our unordered list of topics. So I'm going to give this UL an ID of topics. Alright, now I'm going to just copy and paste a bunch of list items which will represent each topic, just because it's going to take way too long to type. And you should have all these files in your project files anyways. So let me just paste these in. Alright, so here's our unordered list topics, and inside of the topics, inside the list, we have another row with a two columns, which is going to hold the avatar, and then a 10 column which will hold the actual post. Alright, so if we look at the template, you can see this is going to be that 2 column, this will be 10 column. Alright, so after the list, the unordered list, I'm just going to paste in our forum statistics, which is just an H3 tag and then a UL with a couple list items which have the total number of users, topics, and categories. Obviously this is just a static number for now. We'll replace that with dynamic information when we do the application. Alright, so column 4, so this is going to be the sidebar, and basically we'll have 2 areas. We'll have the login form and then the categories list. Okay, so let's right here. Alright, so let's do that. And I might be copying and pasting at times just to do this more quickly. Alright, so we're going to have a div with an ID of sidebar. And then inside that, we're going to have that block class. Alright, and we're going to have a heading that says login form. And then I'm going to just paste in our form. Okay, so this is, you can get this from Bootstrap. There's actually some things here I want to get rid of. Alright, so let me just show you the page that I got this from on Bootstrap. If we go to CSS and then forms, okay, so I just grab this. Alright, so I just want to change a few things. I'm going to get rid of these 4 attributes, and this should be type text. Don't need an ID. Placeholder, we'll say enter username, and this is going to need a name attribute so we can grab it in our application. Username, this is going to have a name, password. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Get rid of this ID. Placeholder, we'll say enter password, and then we have a submit button. I'm gonna add that, have a name of do login. Alright, so that looks good, that's fine. I want to have this class for the login button to have the primary style, and then I'm going to copy this and put it in our register link and change this to default. And that should be it. So let's just see what this looks like right now. Alright, so it doesn't look very good because we haven't done any CSS customization. Alright, so, but you can see that the layout is correct. Alright, so the last thing we want to do here is add in our categories. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Alright, so we want this to start after the block div. Alright, we're going to add in another block. So let's go here, paste this in. You can see we have a class of block again. If we just put this categories inside of this block class, it would be one white square with both modules. And we don't want that. We want them to be separate like this. Alright, so that's our categories. Basically, we have a class of list group, and then we're just adding links with each category with a class of list group item. And you can get this from the Bootstrap site as well. And I think it's on the components page. Down here, list group. Alright, and right here is where I got that code. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that, and that should be it for the HTML for our home page or our index page. Alright, so not too pretty, but it's coming together. The layout looks like it should. So in the next video, we'll do the rest of the HTML for our inner pages.